the one question that a lot of people have asked actually, was this clash ever not going to happen? Given the entire fiasco and the entire drama that played out, I think the important thing is that it was always a matter of who's going to blink first. It's awesome if a cricket board has that kind of access to the Prime Minister, that you can go and knock his door at 11:30 in the night and in half an hour come back with an answer saying, yeah, he said yes, we can play the game. So I'll be very honest here, I'm trying to look at this from as neutral a standpoint as possible. As neutral a standpoint. You have this perspective. You tell me what would have been the consequence if this whole India, Pakistan, Bangladesh relationship would have fallen out in the backdrop of what happened over the last 25 days or to 1 month. Cricket in the Indian subcontinent would have died.
Srinivas, the big clash, India-Pakistan. In the context of the tournament, it's not that big a clash. But whatever has been happening with regards to this contest, what do you make of all that has gone down in the last fortnight?
Was this clash ever not going to happen? Pratyush was going to travel to Sri Lanka. I think we had planned this travel almost a month in advance, right, Pratyush? Did we ever think that your ticket needs to be probably cancelled, or he was going to Sri Lanka not just for the India-Pakistan game? He was going to go to Sri Lanka, to cover Pakistan as a team, and I don't think anybody was in a major doubt that this game was not going to happen. I think the important thing to bear in mind here was, given the entire fiasco and the entire drama that played out, I think the important thing is that it was always a matter of who's going to blink first. Okay. And I think from that standpoint, the first opportunity that Pakistan got to find a way back into the ecosystem, they latched onto it. You see the sequence of events, it did not take them more than 1.5 to 2 hours after the conclusion of these so-called talks for them to go back to the Prime Minister at 11:30 p.m. at night. It's awesome if a cricket board has that kind of access to the Prime Minister. That you can go and knock his door at 11:30 in the night and in half an hour come back with an answer saying, yeah, he said yes, we can play the game. Each country, whether it's India, whether it's Pakistan, in this case even Bangladesh perhaps, is going to conclude from their perspective as to how things transpired. You can't blame them, which is fine. I can't say that I can play a very neutral role in kind of saying this. Maybe at some point at the back of my mind, I will look at things from an India perspective. So I'll be very honest here, I'm trying to look at this from as neutral a standpoint as possible. As neutral a standpoint. What would have been the consequence had India and Pakistan not played this test match, Chandesh? What would have been the story? You have covered enough cricket around the world and in the Indian subcontinent. You were there in Pakistan when, that friendship series in 2003, 2004 happened. You have this perspective. You tell me, what would have been the consequence if this whole India, Pakistan, Bangladesh relationship would have fallen out in the backdrop of what happened over the last 25 days or to 1 month? Cricket in the Indian subcontinent would have died at least for the next 5 to 10 years. That means a cricketing economy around $250 to $300 million would have been totally wiped out from the game. This would have had a cascading effect not just on India, Pakistan. It would have had a cascading effect on any kind of India, Pakistan and Bangladesh game. It would have had a cascading effect on the Asia Cup. India rights in the ICC media rights spectrum, India market is sold separately. It would have had an impact on the India rights. The amount of credibility that the ICC would have lost. Tomorrow, if the ICC were to go and pitch a game, a tournament or whatever, a media rights cycle to, let's say, YouTube or Amazon or maybe Apple, what kind of credibility are you going there with? I don't think people understand the gravity of what I'm saying. 8 out of the full members, 8 full members under the ICC membership are on the brink of bankruptcy at any given point in time. I don't want to be harsh here. I'm choosing my words very carefully. 8 nations are under a serious threat of bankruptcy. They can't be choosers, especially not in an ICC tournament, where literally the bread and butter for how they run their cricket comes from. This was a total a fake threat that was pulled out, and in the end it's very nice to come out, be this whole have a grin on that face and say, "Dekha, we got our demand." What demands, by the way, got fulfilled? Tell me. Am I correct in saying that in 2021 an ICC tournament was taken away from Bangladesh, right? The Women's World Cup. I don't think the ICC has gone and given anything outside of what was due to them. So this whole chatter around, the fact that ICC was under pressure and ICC went and did this, went and did that. Nobody is realizing the pressure that cricket was under, cricket in the subcontinent was under. And then you blame India that they are happy playing the IPL and that they don't care. Yeah, we are playing happy playing the IPL because the money is coming in. At the end of the day, you need money to play the game, right? When this match happens and when the players walk out of the field, there can be all kinds of posturing, whether they'll shake hands, not shake hands, all the drama, the trophy, there can be words exchanged. A lot of things can happen, a lot of drama. People on Twitter will come, have opinions, etc., etc. But remember that this was not anybody else's drama to lose. The only people who would have lost here are the people who were threatening, who were making these false threats that they're going to pull out. And I'm glad that those threats, they realize beyond a certain point don't work. I'm glad the cricket is back in news.
What is the inside story? How did they blink in the end?
First thing, let's go to Bangladesh. I'm the first one to say, Chandresh, that BCCI is wrong in what they did to Mustafizur. Okay, they should not. The reason, everything was wrong. But I have always said, two wrongs don't make a right. BCCI went and did a mistake in removing Mustafizur Rahman just before the World Cup. It put ICC in a soup. And the ICC chairman happens to be an Indian at this point. So nobody here is going to distinguish whether he's a neutral guy or whether he's Indian or whatever it is. At the end of the day, there is a tournament that has to be pulled off. That is the important part. And that is a global tournament. It does not matter what BCCI thinks, what India thinks, what anybody thinks. It's an ICC tournament and it's the ICC's responsibility to pull it off. Now, Bangladesh election season was also on. They saw it as a perfect opportunity. I mean, we've all seen the elections just got over a couple of days ago. So it is a perfect opportunity to kind of make this into an election issue. They said, okay, we will not tour India. The mistake that they did was they said, we will not tour India for security reasons. Mustafizur couldn't play here because of security reasons, right? So they took that conversation forward. They said, we can't visit there for security reasons. Now, the moment they said security reasons, the ICC had no choice but to conduct an independent assessment, risk assessment, right? That's the rule. You worked with the ICC in the past, you would know. They had no choice but to conduct an independent risk assessment. Had Bangladesh said on day one that, listen, this has got nothing to do with risk, we are taking a stand here that we don't want to go to India in the wake of what the BCCI has done to Mustafizur, then it would have become a diplomatic issue between India and Pakistan. And if it would have become a diplomatic issue between India and Pakistan, there is no way that Pakistan would have got an opportunity to interfere because it's a diplomatic issue between two countries. But you made it into an ICC issue. Risk assessment, you said, which took 20 days, 15 to 20 days to be done. That time got wasted. In that time, because it was an ICC issue, the members got involved for a vote. And in that time, Pakistan got involved to create a kind of mischief that they could. Had Bangladesh said on day one that our problem is with India, not with the ICC, this wouldn't have gone this far. Bangladesh, later on, Bangladesh cricket officials themselves admitted off the record, well, it's our government that has clearly told us not to visit India. Fair enough, that's a stand you should have taken publicly and you would have been respected for it. By saying that, this is about risk, etc., etc., you just unnecessarily took a matter outside of where it was supposed to head. That's one. And Pakistan, mischief mongering, that's it. I don't see any other. What solidarity are you talking about? For 10, 12 years, nobody visited your country and Bangladesh was thrice that said no to you. So what solidarity are we talking about here? Nobody in the right frame of mind has found it cautious enough, has found it safe enough to tour Pakistan. Forget India. To that extent, India has actually gone to Pakistan and said, okay, you don't want to come here, we don't want to come there, let's play at a neutral venue. What if India would have said, we don't want to come there, that's about it, whether you come here or you drop out of the tournament. See what if we had to take a rigid stand for the sake of it. We are supposed to be this so-called heartless cricket board, right? If we were to take that stand, who's the loser here? So I think it was pretty normal, neutral on part of the BCCI to say, okay, we will not go to Pakistan, Pakistan will not come to India, which is an agreement that has been signed. It's in place. Basis that agreement, this match was supposed to happen to Colombo. You cannot back out because you have a signed agreement saying that we will play with India at a neutral venue. The legal consequences around Pakistan not playing this tournament would have been absolutely earth shattering for them. They will never admit this. What force majeure are you talking about? Your government or your prime minister taking a call at 11:30 in his private chamber saying, I don't feel like playing India is not force majeure. Learn to understand and distinguish what the term stands for. I don't think anybody in the right frame of mind even tried to consider this. I'm talking about the Pakistani media particularly. So it's unfortunate. As I said, back to cricket. Thankfully, the game is on. Is the game really of the kind of value that people tend to make it to be? No. Let me say this upfront right now. India versus Australia is the greatest rivalry in cricket. When I say this from an economic standpoint. India's tour of Australia, they played in a very difficult time zone, is in fact economically one of the priciest properties in the world. India Pakistan has faded a long time ago. The only reason is it's in the Indian subcontinent that it keeps this rivalry alive, and of course it gives people a lot of commentary to indulge in, unnecessary commentary to indulge in.
Are you glad that the match is happening tomorrow?
Yeah, cricket. I mean, we will all agree, right? Sahil, Pratyush, you, me. I think we will all agree that at the end of the day, none of us don't want cricket to happen. I was chatting with Pratyush today, and I was chatting with Pratyush yesterday, and I said, make the most of this assignment time and have fun. Have fun, make the most of this assignment. And I know that this is covering an India-Pakistan game, covering all the tamasha, no handshake. As a journalist, it's great fun. Great fun. So, like, see the positive side of it and cover the cricket and come back home. That's it. But don't fall for this stupid fake drama that, I made my stand, I stood in solidarity. No, my friend, you did not. You just tried to take advantage, make this into an unnecessarily domestic diplomatic issue, tried to catch India on the wrong foot. The only reason India cannot come and do something, without giving it a thought again and again, because India is not Pakistan. We have that responsibility to fulfill. So the so-called world keeps saying India should give more. India should give more. So yes, letting go of these stupidities and not, kind of reacting without thinking twice. That's one of the takeaways. One of the things that India tends to give. But people should not take that for granted. It's unfortunate.